Welcome back. It's Creative Redundancy back again. And it's Friday with CR, like it says on your screen right there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Creative Redundancy back again, one known as CR, like it says on your screen. And welcome to this Live with CR. A TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday edition of this. Reconnecting with you people out there and sharing a few things and some stories along the way. While I wait for some people to drop in. I'll wait for some people to drop in there. Let me just say hi to everyone here. Whoa! And apparently it is a, thank goodness, I did a stream randomly, impromptu stream. What's up, Caribou Country Outdoors? What's up? Whoa, yeah, guess who's here? Straight up. Just for you, you'll be the first one I highlight. How's it going, man? Virtual fist bump? How are you doing? Of course, Jonathan. And of course, Alpine Preparedness. You guys are all here too. Nice to see you all. Hopefully you guys did well, like I said. Let me just change my camera angle here. Okay. So hopefully you guys are all doing well, like I said, doing enjoying. Sorry. It's like technical difficulties. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Staying warm. I think I can bring this up again. I brought this up on the last live stream, but once again, I'll bring this back up because, well, the winter solstice is coming, the shortest day of the year, and it seems like, at least here in Canada, and probably some places in the US too, it'll probably be one of the colder times. Yeah. Those Arctic high pressure systems are like in the Yukon in Alaska right now. They're them dipped southward as the rest of the weekend plays out and early next week and such. Yeah, pretty sure we're gonna see those kind of extreme cold warnings. Pretty sure about it. And hopefully the temperature will rebound. Hopefully the temperature will rebound back by like New Year's Eve. That'd be nice, right? That'd be nice. It's always nice when it's less cold on New Year's Eve, anyways. So it looks like Christmas is gonna be colder here in North America, that's for sure. But for now, it's not gonna be one of those warm ones. Maybe it'll snow too. Maybe it'll snow too. Yeah, I figure. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time to drop in, my friend. You know, I'm just, I can just picture you. You're probably outside or somewhere right now. It's like, it's just like typing away, sending me these type messages and all that stuff. So yes. So yes, it's the weather out there. Yeah, I know I mentioned it in the last live stream, but I mean it goes without saying. Take winter seriously. If you got to wear gloves, wear gloves. I know you don't get the dexterity, but you know sometimes it's nice to have warm hands. I mean, if you're doing something, you take them off, but you know, keep your hands warm because frostbite and frost nip is not pleasant, and it really does hurt. It really does hurt. I remember a few times where I've had like frostnip or minor frostbite, excuse me, like on my thumbs and stuff like that from doing activities outside. And like, yeah, I put my hand underneath my armpits and stuff like that. I try not to do that kind of rubbing of the hands, at least with skin to skin contact. It's one thing if you got gloves on or mitts on, but I don't like doing that with bare hands. Because there's a certain point where, yes, the friction is gonna warm up your hands, but friction also causes like kind of, well, I wouldn't call it blistering, but you can only do it so far. And try not to, blow into your hands. It's not a good thing. It's definitely a temporary thing. And once you start doing it, you'll have to keep doing it because you're blowing moisture into your hands. And what happens when moisture gets cold? It starts to freeze. And water does pull heat away from the body much quicker than just the ambient air, as they say. And don't sweat. Sweating's not good in the winter. So while I get this everything set up here, and I think I'll download this one up. Let's load this little loop thing here. And actually, because I want to, put on the daydreaming. There we go. Daydreaming. I kind of like this track. I don't know why. Besides, it keeps me, well, I can hear it. It's something I can play in the background. Apparently, StreamYard, you can actually put in other music. Obviously, copyright-free type of music. So I might look for something in the future to go along with my streams. So maybe I can loop in something like that. Because I know these tracks you can loop in. And obviously, they're legit. So this is just something I made quite a while ago. This is just a loop. This live with CR that you see on the screen right now. It's just something I made a while back. Using I think it was an online type of editor out there. Something I was just trying out, and I thought it was kind of cool. I'm like, I could use this somewhere. Because originally I was going to use this with OBS until I had issues with the laptop, which I'm not going to get into. But I had access to it. I'm like, I'll bring it onto my phone and kind of upload it onto the StreamYard side to use. So it's just a 30-second clip that just loops around. So you're not just seeing my icon the whole time through. You can see some visuals and have some sound to listen to while you get along with your TGIF Friday day here. And speak of Friday, I posted something over on the Instagram side, so you can go check that sneak peek of that out. Later on today, or if you're catching this on the replay, it might already be out by that time, but in a couple hours from now, I have something that's a special GIF. When I say GIF, I really do mean GIF, like GIF. Something that I just threw together. Last night. I was just like, before the stream, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go stream. Then I was just messing around with some apps, and I just made something. So I figured I put something out for a Friday. Send my warm thoughts and wishes to everyone at the same time, and elaborate on staying warm during the winter a little bit more. Yeah, and bundle up and have those, things in your vehicle ready, such as a blanket, for example, just in case. Because I know earlier this week, there was some people, well, probably more in the US. I imagine there was probably some people here in Canada too that were unable to move in their vehicle for one reason or another. So, and some of them probably really had to stay in their vehicle because they had no choice. I mean, something like a down power line, yeah, that's not force you to stay in your vehicle. There's no doubt about that. So, having something in your vehicle to give you options, something to work with, will pick up your morale and kind of make a situation like that a little less just a minor inconvenience. So I'm enjoying my coffee here. Cheers to everyone out there with a CR in that word too. I actually also have something else I wanted to mention because I forgot I didn't mention it on the last live stream, but I'll bring it up in about 10 minutes from now, give or take. Maybe the top of the hour right now, almost the top of the hour. It's like, 7 minutes to the top of the hour, wherever you are in the country or in the world right now, give or take. So yes, like I said, hopefully you guys are all staying warm out there. I was doing some inventory on some winter gear, and I'm like, I just noticed, I'm like, I never realized how many hats or toques I had. I got let's see. I almost have enough for one for every day for the rest of this calendar year. but some, I live here in Canada, so I expect to see, cold Arctic air, Arctic windshield snow. So I'm just not gonna have that kind of winter gear. And sometimes I gotta cycle through it and, often wash them or do laundry and stuff like that. So, and some of them are warmer, some of them are longer, some of them are thicker. So it depends what's going on and stuff. I like wearing a toque in the winter. I know sometimes a hoodie doesn't quite do it for me at times. I'll wear a buff or a gaiter or something like that too, but I like to have the hat. I know some of you like the cold a little bit less, some of you like it a little bit more, but we all have our tolerances or our upper or lower limit to the cold. There's a certain point that, eventually you want to wear a few more layers and stuff like that. Where it'd be a scarf, a buff, a toque, a hat, ski mask, mitts, and layer that up. Ski pants, boots, There's a certain point where, shoes aren't uncut. There's a certain point where one pair of pants isn't uncut, or one or two layers isn't uncut. It's nice to have those layers on you. So if you do overly start getting warm, you can let some air in and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm just checking on this message. Someone just messaged me through Instagram. So to that person that just messaged me, I know you probably don't catch this on the replay, so shout out to you, by the way. Let's see if you pay attention and hear this part. That's just for you. Yeah, they just mentioned to me that they're gonna be out today, so they're gonna be watching this on the replay later. But who knows? Maybe they'll drop in. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. If they drop in, I'll be like, what? So yeah. Like I said, bundle up out there. I'm actually planning some outdoor activities the next couple days, next week. Honestly, like many people out there, so I'm planning ahead just a tad and making sure that I bring enough supplies and gear with me, you know, just in case I need a little bit more, let's just say, winter armor, as they say. So, because I will be doing a couple of walks, I will be outside, so just for the weather. Because clearly, like right now, in some places it's still not too bad outside, but I know that's gonna change. So I'm like, yeah, I better bring a little bit extra. I can always remove layers if necessary, but can't put on layers if you don't have them. I mean, so, and besides, I actually have to give something to someone next week. Well, late in the weekend, early next week. So, someone to help them out. It's something for them to help them out during the winter. So, because I figured I could spare a few since I have a few extra, and I knew I wouldn't use them all anyway. So I'm like, well, you know what? Instead of them just collecting dust in a not so useful state, I'll bring them back into useful state by kind of gifting it to someone else to use. Especially since I have some that I can spare. Because I've been going through some like gear and stuff like that, with that bag right here, and just some stuff that I'm like, you know what? You know, maybe they're not in my size anymore or something like that. Actually, I'll show something right here. Hi, Shadow. How are you doing? Let me just. We'll try. Oh, whatever. Let me just stop this group for a moment here. See, just some glue over here that I'm going to donate to someone, or try to, anyways. Because these actually don't fit me in there anymore, and they're kind of. I mean, it's not that I can't wear them, but they're just a little kind of too snug. And basically, I wouldn't be able to wear anything underneath these. I could put something over top, but I can't wear anything underneath. So I figured I'd try to get them into a new home. Someone that could probably use them. Maybe doesn't have gloves or something like that, or someone that can grow into them or something like that. Like, I actually have some desserts. Let me just put it on the table right here. It just happens to be in these certain colors right here. But yeah, like I said, these two. So I'll try to do something with these. Okay. Oh, yes. Good evening to you too, Shadow. Hello, my friend. And yeah, these I was just checking on them. I'm like, I've had them for a while. They actually don't. They're too tight. They're not loose enough. I like winter clothing that's a little bit more loose, not overly tight to the skin, so to speak. Because I don't like that. I like loose-fitting clothing in the winter. You know, something I don't have to struggle to put on. at times, or take off or whatever. So, and these are actually like, oh, let me just show this here real quick here. Yeah, these are actually this style. So they got, this would be your face covering, you know, similar to like a scarf or a buff, and then the opening for your, you know, your eyes, your nose, and such. So it's a little too snug on me, and I don't like that. And remember, I wear glasses like some of you out there, so that's another reason why I've gone away from using these, and I've gone towards a hat and a buff instead, because it's easier for me to adjust it to my glasses, and I can put that stuff on without actually taking off my glasses. So yeah, for you people that wear glasses out there, yeah, it's one of those things. It's a little bit different, you know, or how sometimes I'll wear goggles in the winter because I wear glasses, and if I'm going in and out of a warm area, a cold area, let's just say shoveling snow or something like that, well, I don't like my glasses fogging up, because sometimes my glasses fog up to a point where I can't see, and it's quite a thick layer of kind of frost. So sometimes I'll wear the goggles so I can still kind of see what I'm doing. Let's say if I come back inside for a moment to go, let's say get to a phone call or message someone or something along the lines of that, or grab my coffee or something like that. So, because there's a certain point where I can't even wipe the frost off, or it's more difficult. Yeah. So, but I usually don't need to do that until like, well, maybe the temperature next week. So, I don't know, the goggles might actually come with it. I mean, if you think about it, people that go skiing, snowboarding, those winter activities use snow goggles and such. I mean, I don't have snow goggles, but I do have goggles, so, and it does help. It does help. At least it keeps my eyeballs nice and warm, right? Because the wind can't penetrate through it and such. And it's easier to wipe the frost off the goggles than trying to wipe them off my glasses. And, you know, when you touch your glasses and stuff like that, you know, you smudge it, you get, you know, and all that stuff. So. Oh, yeah, I see you in there. I see you in there, Jonathan. How's it going? I appreciate that. You send a little birdie message out? Okay. Thanks for tweeting me out. So yeah, just this little bag that I'm just gathering some extra things, like I said, some winter gear that I can't personally use anymore, but someone else could. So I'll try to get it to someone that can actually use it. You know, maybe someone I know or something like that. I know a few people that I might be able to, you know, I may accept it, I may would like it and stuff like that. I mean, all of a sudden I gift it to them for free. Obviously, I'm not trying to sell it, but I rather know where it's going. Like, I can drop it off, yeah, it goes without saying, I can drop it off some, you know, secondhand place, thrift store or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna end up in the hands of people that need it. Most likely it probably will, however, it's not guaranteed. At least if I do the legwork and gift it to someone that I know, hey, here's some gloves and some winter headwear, toques and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, hey, CR, thanks for that, we could really use that, or you know, and stuff like that, then I know where it's going, you know, and I'll know for sure that I'm helping someone more locally, like a friend or maybe someone in a neighbor locally and stuff like that, and I'll be, yeah, so versus assuming that that it'll go somewhere just because if I dropped it off at a donation bin or something like that. So I try to get that stuff to the people that can actually use it, especially if it's someone I know, like friends, family, something like that. Because I also know that if I gift it to them, for example, like gloves or mitts or a hat or a toque, I'm gifting it to them for free, so they don't have to spend money right now. Unnecessarily, and save them a couple bucks or something like that. So, as a warm gift, right? I know I keep saying the word gift because I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, TGIF actually has gift in there, right? GIF. Oh, if you see my post later in a couple hours from now, you'll see that. Inside joke. For people that actually know what that means, you'll get it once you see it. So. Oh, look who's this. Prep for it. Hello. How are you doing? My friend? Nice to see you. Virtual fist bump to you. Hopefully you're doing well. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I like this one. This daydreaming on StreamYard. I kind of like this. It's and I can almost like sing or rhyme or make a beat to it. It's good coffee. So yeah, kind of glad I've been doing all this kind of winter preparedness stuff. I mean, I guess it goes without saying here in Canada, but kind of fine-tuning it a little bit more. Because I've been reorganizing it in a certain way where, because the temperature, let's just say, there's certain gear that I can wear at certain temperatures, and then there's certain gear that I wouldn't wear when it's warmer out or less cold out because it's too warm, too many layers and such. So let's just say if it was the temperature right now, I could probably get by without ski pants, for example. But later on next week, for example, those type of temperatures, it would be nice to have some extra layers around the legs. Sometimes that Arctic windshield can just really penetrate through certain articles of clothing, so it's nice to have that extra layer. And besides, I don't want to complain about it. So, I mean, there's certain times where I'm like, maybe I should have worn a little bit more, where I'm like actually having to do like squats or jumping, maybe even jumping jacks or jumping up and down to kind of get the blood flowing a little bit more and such. See, I have these mitts right here. Unfortunately, they don't match, but I was worried about that. Let me just see here. Who's in here? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see you. I see you in there, Shadow. See, one of the mitts I have. I don't have a matching one, but it's the same size. But sometimes I'll wear it out this every so often. Like when I'm going out next week, I'm not even gonna bring gloves. I'm just gonna wear these kind of mitts instead, because it won't be worth it, especially with the cold. I mean, I can wear gloves underneath these if I wanted to, like I actually I'm planning a trip right now as I speak. because when I leave, it's supposed to be pretty chilly. So. I gotta make sure my phone's charging. Okay. So yeah, I got stuff like this. So to add some sort of buff. So I'm gonna try this one out. I haven't tried this one out. This one's really warm. It's got some. You can't see it. So, yeah, you can see it right there. Some an extra layer right there. So try this one out and see how it is. Should be pretty warm. Cause I went out like, let's see, today's Friday. Well, let's say week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So, and when I came back, it was cold. But it's gonna be colder than that. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll up the game on my gear a little and bring something a little bit warmer. A little bit warmer. Speak warmer. I gotta make sure I put this back away before I forget. I already got a winter jacket ready to go and such. Yeah. One with a hood, zippers, and stuff like that. You know, it's got YKK zippers and stuff like that. I've actually had it for a while. I'll be wearing it in addition to like maybe like a sweater, something like that. Because I think I actually will be wearing one of my thicker wool sweaters. I think I can justify the use of it now. I haven't actually used it for a while because it hasn't gone that cold yet. But for the activities I'm doing and what I'm expecting to see next week, and hearing from like other people like Alpine Preparedness how cold it is already over there where they are and such, and other people, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll wear a little bit more. I can always unzipper the jacket and let some air in if I get overly hot, but like I said, you can't take off layers of clothing if you're too hot if you don't have them on or with them, or or you can't put on clothes or warmer clothes if you don't have them. So still better to bundle up a bit and such. So, and besides, it will give me a good chance to try out some of this stuff, see how warm it really is. I could go outside right now. It's like, oh yes, it's nice and warm with it on, but it's not that cold out. I'm talking about when it's like minus 30 or lower. That's minus 22 Fahrenheit for all of you people in the US. So I'm like, yeah. And actually, like, try it out in real world, right? Real world conditions. Maybe with that Arctic windshield, right? Because right now, I also don't know how windy it's gonna be. So, I mean, if it's really windy, that windshield's gonna just plummet that air temperature down even more. So, and we'll see. Because at least if I know, I'll be like, if I'm warm in that kind of temperature with what I have on at that time, I'll be like, I can gauge it and compare it to like some air gear that I have. I'll be like, oh yeah, if it's this kind of temperature, this kind of wind, maybe this type of gear is probably more suitable for this conditions. Where something like, let's say a single layer buff or a thinner hat or two may not cut it and such. Or a jacket may not cut it. Where I may need a little bit more insulation, thermal insulation and stuff like that. No idea. That's really cool, prep work, yeah. That's cool. Like, I actually already have that sweater out. It's sitting right beside my backpack right now. literally on that day that I leave or when I go, I will start putting it on. So it'll be part of the layering that I have. I remember there is a few times, very few times when it's even colder than what's expected next week, where I've actually put on even more layers. I remember going out this one February time. I was visiting someone, so I walked over there. Now the trip isn't overly a long trip, maybe like half an hour, but let's just say it felt like minus 40 out, especially in the wind. I mean, I wasn't the only one walking, but I was like, so that was the very few times that I'll wear some like almost like 5 or 6 layers in of clothing. So, because yeah, at those temperatures, yeah, frostbite's definitely gonna set in extremely fast, and it's not hurt. So, and I was just like gauging it on how warm it was. You know, does it really help? Is this article of clothing, whatever it is, two mitts, gloves, ski pants, whatever it is, scarf, buff, whatever, you know, how good is it when it's cold, and how good is it against the wind? Because a lot of the time it's that wind chill that's always gonna be, you know, the one that really bites the most, so to speak. Because if the wind chill goes for you, you don't feel cold. But as long as you can hold back that heat or block the windshield or upwind block, you know, generally you'll feel warmer. You'll be more comfortable and stuff like that. You'll be able to, you know, enjoy the outdoor activity or the walk or whatever it is a little bit longer. You know, that's why I still dress for the weather and stuff like that. I mean, it's one, you know, I remember this one time I was just out for a walk and someone was like, I saw someone driving and they were dropping off something to someone. Apparently, I didn't know these people or anything like that, but they were just out in, what's this? And, wow, what's the word I can look for? I wouldn't say quite like a nightgown, but like tennis shoes out. I think they had shorts on too, right? And they were driving. I'm like, I was just thinking to myself, I really hope you don't run into anything. You might regret that. I mean, yeah, most of the time it'll probably be fine, but it'll be that one time, right? You know, where you decide not to wear so much, and then something unexpected happens, and then you'll be like, yeah, you'll have what's that called? 20/20 hindsight. Oh, you'll regret that decision. So I try to at least have something on you to wear. And besides, like something like a heater in a vehicle or something like that, yeah, most of the time it does work. But as many people are aware, sometimes those car heaters, they either break down, stop working, or less effective, or it's not warming up the vehicle as fast. So it would be nice to have some actual clothes on, maybe a blanket in the meantime until it warms up, and you can always use that blanket or whatever if you kind of in a temporarily shelter in place in your vehicle for a little bit. Oh, I see some weird people are coming. All right, prep for it. Take care, my friend. Oh, okay. Wait, let me go get it. I have to go get this. Where is it here? Where did I put it? Actually, where did I put it? Oh. Hello, Forehaven. How are you doing? I'm trying to find the socks. I was trying to find the socks. I'm trying to find the socks right now. Apparently, I must have misplaced them, or they're somewhere where I don't notice them right now. I know I have them, but I was always thinking, I'm like, yes, you know, those ones I'm talking about. I was thinking to myself, maybe I should just, you know, those could be my morale boosting socks. Is there such a thing as a morale boosting type of socks? Right? You know, so, you know. So when it's really cold out or something like that, I'll be like, I'll put them on. I'll feel like force with me. I was just thinking, maybe you know. Sometimes sometimes it's all that psychological thing. You know, it's all up here, as they say, right? So I was just thinking about that. Because technically, I actually haven't worn those socks. I actually haven't put them on, but it's because I have better socks I can wear. I was just because those were actually gifted to me during they were actually gifted to me during Christmas time a couple years back. So I just haven't worn them. I've shown them here on the stream. I mean, on the stream, on the channel, and on some of our panels. But N4 knows which ones I'm talking about. Yeah, those ones. Yeah. Yeah. You always got some blankets or sleeping bags in the vehicle, so yeah. Because I think I mean, it could be as simple as, oh, hey, I forgot my hat, I dropped my mitts, something like that. You have a spare just in case. I mean, I know that happens. I know people drop hats and mitts because I've seen it. I mean, of course, it depends on the area and how many people you see, but I know you can see it in more populated areas where it's just like, oh, there's someone left behind one glove or mitt, there's a hat, there's a scarf, right? And such. And it always makes me wonder, I'm like, so they took off their hat and then dropped it? Although I think it's because, they're getting out of the vehicle and it dropped out and then, something like that, and they forgot about it and didn't notice it and couldn't retrace their steps on where it was. But when it's really cold out, yeah, you might regret things like that happening. Losing a mitt, losing a glove and such. And yeah. See, he knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. You had a pretty busy day, Shana. Okay. But yeah, I mean, those, like I said, those things are kind of like a good thing to have during the winter. Especially if the temperature can plummet, or at times or in the past you've seen certain things like snow. I mean, even the crampons or the ice cleats, I have them. I don't usually have to deal with ice here, personally, but I have seen the freezing rain. So even last year, like the 2021-2022 season, I saw freezing rain 4 separate occasions, so it was nice to have them. Yeah, especially since that one time that I sprained my wrist from a fall. Yeah, I don't want to go through that again if I can. So I'm trying to be more proactive about it. Yeah, trying to avoid that situation. I learned a lot from it, that's for sure. Yeah, especially some of the pain at times. So yes. How long have we been going for? It's only been 45 minutes. Yeesh. And I keep forgetting I was supposed to bring something up. Alright. I'm gonna bring something up. Let me just temporarily pause that audio. Alright, I'm gonna pause that audio for a moment here. I keep forgetting I was supposed to bring this up last time. because I know like power, electricity, and such is a thing. Let's just say right now, because I was just hearing about this, where they're you might have heard about this, or, heard some stories, or maybe some people have shared a few things. They're talking about fusion. Heard about that? I'm like, we're technician. I mean, we're quote unquote got more energy out than energy that was put into the system. Obviously, it was a very small amount of time, micro, probably nanosecond. But I guess, well, maybe in time it'll pay off. You know, although there's like the length of like 3 football uh, fields worth of material, 192 lasers, but apparently they did it. You know, it's 10 years away or a decade away, and they keep saying that. Well, I guess we'll see. But I just thought, oh, I've been hearing about stuff like that because I actually watch documentaries too and some other things. So a lot of the power things always is if fusion becomes viable and all this stuff, which is different from what we have right now. Right? There's a difference between fusion and fission. Fission, yeah, fission. Fusion is bonding or combining elements together, and it releases energy. Versus fission, which basically you're breaking something, and because of that, there's radioactive material left over. So fusion is definitely a lot more cleaner. Oh, look, that's the artwork. Cleaner, but much more tricky to do. Hopefully, in some of our lifetimes, we'll be able to see that, or at least more promising attempts on it. But seeing that kind of more energy out than was put in, even for a split nanosecond, I guess that's promising. So I can't wait for all that to eventually happen. Amongst everything. I wasn't gonna go totally out of this world with this stream, but I guess it looks like I am. From the cold to like, well, fusion. So we got so in the meantime, we gotta use what we have here in the present right now. And consider, often consider the future, but sometimes we gotta work in the present first, and hopefully, it'll help in the future. And learn from the past, right? Learn from the past to apply it to the present to help with the future. Some words like that, some phrase like that. I don't know. There's probably a coined phrase out there that I'm not remembering right now. Cheers with coffee to everyone listening right now. So hopefully you guys are all doing well, like I said. So let me just bring some back up here. I'm not bring this other one. Actually, I think I'm gonna bring this one. Ah, see how it just transitioned into into it so nicely. I think I should have this on repeat. Yeah, this one's a little bit more simplistic. It's almost like if I actually turned it off, it's like almost overlays over my icon quite nicely. It's almost like I planned it that way. Almost like I planned it that way. Oh, and by the way, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, there will be another sneak. Well, I shouldn't say sneak peek, but there will be another very short clip that I'm posting later next week. Probably, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know. I haven't actually scheduled it. It's just in draft form or in as a private video right now. But just something small. Something small. It'll represent the time of year amongst other things. Almost like a singing telegram. Almost like a singing telegram. I might actually name the YouTube on the YouTube side that, but yeah, something I threw together just for fun and for practice too. I had to practice a few of the things. Let's see what I can pull off. So let me just check here. Okay, I gotta make sure my battery's going up here. Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course. You want to join me, Shanna? I can send you. I can send you a link. I can message you a link if you will like to join me. Because I'm not sure if you've actually joined me on a panel here. Obviously, I've joined your panel many, on and on every Saturday, almost it seems, for hours and hours on your panels. So I'm just like, when I'm trying to think, have I actually invited you or had you on one of my streams? I mean, I've been on panel with you on other people's channels and stuff like that. I remember that, but it's kind of different, I guess, right? It's kind of different. Let me know, by the way. Actually, let me see. Copy. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I got to alt tab out. Okay. Just to make sure that this is still going. Should still be able to hear me. Anyways, I sent you. All right. Which means that I need to end my loop here. All right, so yeah, I messaged it to you. Sent you an IM. Not sure how long I'm gonna stay on for, but I got some time. And it's nice to reconnect with some of you people out there and such. And like I said, share a few things too. Maybe some stories, things in the works, amongst other things. Well, wait here. Yeah. Oh, I hear it. Oh, add history. Hi! Look who it is, everyone. Look, it's Shadow Scout Sweet here. My buddy from Sweden.
Story time, Thor.
Well, at least your mic's working.
Indeed.
Oh, of course you had to bring that up. You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
Useful word.
Yes. I'm still trying to come up with an acronym for that. I'm still trying to come up with the words for that. That actually makes sense with that word. That's the tricky part. I can put like whatever words into it, but it won't make sense yet. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's like ever. Why is he using the word ever?
Yeah.
I could say
So,
ever. Yeah. Go ahead.
how are you doing, CR?
I know, like, I think this is the first time I've actually invited you onto the panel with me.
Yeah, it is.
I know. It feels. It's like, oh, so this is how it feels. I don't. I'm not the host, so I can do whatever I want. I don't. I don't. I just have to moderate. I don't have to control all this stuff. I don't have to keep talking.
Exactly.
Wait,
Now
this.
you have the controls.
Yeah, but wait a second. I do all the talking on your stream anyways. Wait. Yeah. I just put that on this story time. Yeah. I'll just leave that on the screen. Yes. Is it cold? Is it cold out there for you?
Yeah, minus 16 degrees Celsius.
It's actually colder there for you right now than it is here for now. Like I said, by next week, like this later this weekend, it's gonna be colder than that here. Much colder. So, well, yeah, because I sent you guys the jet stream map indicator, right? For that's valid until tomorrow. But yeah, you can see those that deeper blues dipping down more. And they're right now, like I said, there's these Arctic high pressure systems in the Yukon and Alaska right now, and they're gonna slowly make their way downwards, and do and that clockwise rotation of their winds is gonna bring that northern Arctic air down. So yeah, so everyone stay warm. It looks like it's gonna be one of those for the holiday
Yes,
season.
stay warm sounds like a good idea.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna be like I said. That's why I'm making sure on my trip here. Well, it's not really a trip, but I'm still gonna be outside long enough that I need to bundle up. I gotta, yeah, gotta make sure I bundle up. I think I actually have enough room to put my thermos in my bag now. I'm like, yes, that means I can bring coffee this time around. I made some room for it now, so
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. Yeah, because I have to bring a change of clothes too. So I was just like, yes, I actually have like a full set of change of clothes, amongst everything. That sweater that I've been talking about, the wool sweater, I'm actually just not wearing, but the underlayers that I'm wearing underneath and stuff, I'll change. I have to change, so because I'll be away for a little bit, away from home for a little bit. So, and you might actually see a stream from me again, away from home, like usual. But we'll see. We'll see. So if I randomly get some like gifts of socks, I'll be like, oh, I love you, man. I love you. Thanks for the gifts of socks. I can use them right now. I don't mind those. I don't mind those. I mean, it could
Well,
be
that's nice.
gloves or yeah. Oh, I remember this one time my friend she gifted me these wool mints. Oh, they're pretty warm. They like, do want some of the air in, like the windshield at times. So, but if I'm wearing something right underneath it, it's really warm. So, and of course, wool tends to stay warmer, especially if it's 100% wool, even if it's damp or wet to a certain degree. In comparison
Yeah.
to like synthetic or like con or a con blend or something along the lines of that. As usually con, tends to hold moisture longer, takes longer for it to dry at times. So, I mean, as long as you keep con dry, it's fine. But You can't keep it dry or whatever. Yeah, and you can't sweat in that really.
I
It holds the
agree.
moisture next. Yeah, it holds the moisture to your body. Yeah, yeah. Just for now, right? For just for now, right? Just for now. I gotta make sure my phone's charging here. Come on, phone, charge here. Okay. But for how long? For how long? Because usually the systems here in North America go from west to east. So I'm just saying, just saying. Yeah. Might be cold for you on New Year's. During New Year's time. If it's gonna be cold next week here, out west there. So usually that's how it goes.
Next week, uh, I don't wonder what temperatures we will have then. Oh, it will get milder temperature next week.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it will
That's
be at -2, -1.
oh,
And
that's warm. That's
Thursday it will
warm for
be,
winter.
yeah, and -3 to
Yeah,
7 degrees at Thursday,
and you're
7
probably
to
getting
9 at Friday.
and you're probably getting sunshine too,
And
right?
then the temperature will drop again
Are you getting sun?
at Saturday on Christmas Eve.
Are you? Is that with sun or like mostly sunny?
It will look.
Oh yeah, yeah. So mix of sun cloud, maybe
That is Saturday
mostly sunny
24th.
or mainly
There,
sunny. Okay, yeah. Hello, Art. There we go. Are you doing?
hey,
Nice to see you.
man. Good to see you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just thinking, seeing Ark in here. Yeah, it's Friday. I decided to, well, metaphorically fire it up Friday. I was just, it was just something for fun. And besides, it's to kind of remind everyone to bundle up, be ready for the winter, right? Stay warm and such, you know. So try to remember some of the people out there that may have less fortunate, So hence Shadow and everyone else here for it and Arik. This is why I'm going to be giving some winter gear away to someone else. Try to anyway, because I can't use it anyways. Too, like I said, it's either too
And
small
how
for
are
me or it's yep.
yeah? And how are you going to do that to give it away?
I'm
It's
gonna
on
try.
a stream, or are you going
No,
to
no,
give
no,
it
no,
on a
no, no.
stream? Or
In person. No, in person. In the real world, in real life.
okay,
Because I mean, well, first of all, I know you guys are the prepared-minded people, so I know you guys would be good. It's it's actually trying to get it to people that could use it a little bit more, right? Maybe they only have one set of gloves or one hat, right? So they can
yeah,
have a spare that they can put in their backpack, take it with them to school, have them when they're on their way to work, in their vehicles and stuff like that, right? That way, they got a spare or something they can rotate, right? Because I don't wear the same toque or hats the whole season. Sometimes eventually I have to wash it. So this is why I actually need at least two usually, or a few pairs, or a few kind of hats or toques, because I actually have to wash them in time to a certain degree. Because eventually, you sweat in it, you know, or I spill coffee on my gloves or something like that. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. And things like scarves and buffs, the way that you wear them, right? You breathe into them a lot, so it's nice to actually keep them fresh. You know, clean them off. Do the laundry for them and stuff like that. You're trying to stay warm, Arik? Yeah, yeah. I think next week that'll be definitely a statement that I'll be saying. Wait, I'm pretty sure everyone out west will be saying that. Stay warm, bundle up. Uh, such. Hence why those blankets and such are important in your vehicle and such. So, like, I even have the story this one time when me and my buddies were out in the countryside, and oh, what's this? My buddy's like, oh, we're gonna go ice fishing, but it's snowing out. It's windy out. Yeah, I have a temporary shelter for us. CR. Yeah, my friend didn't tell us that it wouldn't fit the three of us nicely. So one of us had to stand outside for a moment or so. You got that Mister one of those uh propane type of heaters, and stuff like that. Like, but long story short, the sleeping bag really made the difference for us because when we were leaving, that's when my buddy was starting to shiver, and it seemed like they were shivering uncontrollably. So I'm like, you have to sleep. You put on the sleeping bag first, bro, right? And like, what my friend didn't realize at that time, I'm like, no, I'm letting you use it first to warm it up, so then I can put it on, right? But, but literally within like a minute, my buddy just stopped shivering because it's one of those things, right? If you start shivering uncontrollably, then you realize that it's one of those next steps, right? Those next things, right? Just like your story that you mentioned on your channel before, that one story, right? You were shivering uncontrollably, right? You can control that, right? You can stop shivering. So it's one of those things,
Exactly.
right? Where you actually have to get warm before it goes into that next tier of, you know, going downhill, right? So, and that was just a sleeping bag, right? Because it was already in the truck with us. So, because we actually had to start the vehicle every so often, right? Just to make sure. Like we were only like an hour, like maybe an hour walk away, but it's -30 out. We didn't want to have to walk back. We could have, right? We could have if we had to, but we didn't want to, right? So we made sure the vehicle was running and everything. And my buddy made sure that there was at least a sleeping bag in the back for us to use, like a blanket, right? That's the thing about a sleeping bag. Generally, they open up all the way the zipper, so you can use it with a blanket too. So stuff like that really does help. Yeah, if you have room and budget, recovery devices, traction aids are ahead. Yeah. I agree with you, Floor. And like I said, you hear the stories about people falling on ice, right? I mean, I'm raising my hand. Seriously? Now I'm. Hold on, I'll be right back. Keep talking.
That's typical. CR always get phone calls on the live stream. I don't know what to say about that, but well, he's what he is. What temperatures do you have, Ark? Well, man, in your area?
Okay, I'm back. I took off the headset for a moment, so I didn't hear anything if you said anything. So,
Yeah, I just asked Dark Wildman what temperatures he had in his area now.
well, like, well, he lives more east than I do. I know that. I'm pretty sure that's Eastern Time Zone, EST. So, like I said, I know I would east right now. Right. I think they're even saying northeastern, northeasterner, out east.
41
Like, uh,
Fahrenheit.
41. That's about what 4 Celsius ish.
Hmm,
I
that's not
mean,
cold.
also it's yeah, it's still above freezing, but it also depends what you're used to. Some people remember, it depends what you're used to. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're used to cold, you have the tendency to actually have the more winter gear. But
yeah.
people, let's just say, it's just like during that freeze in Texas, which is only last year, by the way, early last year, 2021, but it's still only last year. It's coming up to 2 years now, but it's what they're used to, right? And the
Yeah,
ability to have access to certain gear that would help, like winter stuff, right? Because
and it
like
will drop to 27 Fahrenheit tonight, says
yeah,
Arctic
that'll be
Wildman.
like -3. Yeah, so yeah, it's one of those things. Right, the nighttime temperature will definitely be chilly because usually it is. But like I was saying, like because I've mentioned this to Second Star Survival before, because she lives in that state, and obviously Sassy Gal, she lives in that state too. Right, for anyone that doesn't know. So, and there's other people that live in that state, right? So I know, they have some winter clothing, probably not as much as like people here in Canada do, right? Like me for alpine preparedness, right? We probably have the tendency to have more winter clothing than some of you,
Yeah,
just because the temperatures are colder, longer for longer periods of time, right? And like I said, it's gonna be below -20, below 0 Fahrenheit, even during the day for over a week. So I mean, in comparison, right? However, with that said, obviously for someone like Ark and some other people down south, it gets hotter during the summer, but it's just the way it is. But then again, I mean, it can get hot up here in Canada too, so it's just not as long, right? In comparison, it's just like
in
weeks and weeks of
comparison.
heat. Yeah, weeks and weeks of heat. Well, we can get weeks and weeks of like cold here, so you plan accordingly. But what I was gonna say was like the people like the footage that you see of people bundling up and stuff like that, they have the clothing
Yeah,
probably because they brought it into that state. Like some people that used to live in Canada and moved down to Texas, you know, they probably brought that clothing because I use it for skiing, right? Skiing when I'm in the mountains or something like that, right? We go
yeah,
traveling to to the mountains for skiing or snowboarding, right? So they have that gear. It's the people that don't do those activities, don't have access to it, right? Because I spoke to Second Star about that. He's and he was like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to find that stuff because it's not a seasonal thing. All right, they're selling air conditioners and they're not selling winter gear or clothing, right? Stuff like a wool blanket would be expensive because there's not much demand. There's no demand for that stuff probably during the November, December, but as soon as it really does get cold or whatever, yeah, there will be a demand, right? So this is why I'm a big proponent of like you know layering up and stuff like that, especially something like even a buff or something like that. You know, even if you gotta make it. I mean, And yes, I'm working on that, by the way. I've been working on adding some more buffs into the layering of what I wear. That way I actually have some other things I can layer in and stuff like that. So there's still a layer next to my skin kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you wear during the winter time at times. I mean, it's just because right now the temperature for you is colder there than what it is here. But you know, because it's funny. I've seen people, you know, can handle colder temperatures with less clothing, but I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely not one of those people. I mean, I've experienced frostbite and stuff like that. It's not pleasant. It really does
It's
hurt.
not funny. The problem with
Oh, it's not.
frostbites, the problem with frostbites is if you had it once, you can easily have it again.
Yeah, and there's certain parts of the body that are more prone to it right away. Like even like even when I'm wearing gloves or mitts or whatever, my thumb will probably be the first part because usually it's because unlike my fingers that are closer to there, your thumb's kind of further away, so to speak, right? This is why I've been changing. I have this specific gear now that I've used that's not a glove, not a mitt, but it's just one. It's basically like a sock to put over your hand because it keeps my thumb next to my fingers as closer together. And this is in conjunction with like air gear that I have, right? So I can take that off if I need more dexterity or whatever, but this is something I have. I find it does help me and such. And it seems to double for a lot of other things too lately for me, so I've noticed. Keeps my coffee warm too. When I'm heading out and
That's
stuff like
good.
that. So yeah. I guess you know what? I'll show you guys. Why not? Sneak peek. Let me go get it. Because if you think about it, I mean, this is something. Depending on what you have access to, you can make this. You don't necessarily have to buy it, but it's just something I did. But now I'm still working on it, but let me just turn the camera here. Come on, see, because see, it allows me to keep my thumb next to my
Yeah.
hand, so I can make a fist in it, right? So if it's cold, I'm walking, right? And that and I can put on gloves, then put this on top and such, or mitts or something like that. So it's just something I just kind of I'm like I should have did this a long time ago. Because I can still grab stuff, right? I can still grab stuff, still grab a ball, still grab a handle, but if it's colder or if I'm not handling anything, I can keep a fist in it. And because my thumb's next to my palm and my fingers are together, my hand will probably stay warm. And I can put this over top of like glove or pairs of gloves or mitts, right? So it's just something
Yeah.
I have. And if I have a drink in my hand, like coffee or whatever, I can actually use it like a cozy. So multifunctional. And just something I was just like thinking to myself, I'm like, I should have did this a long time ago. But it's something I need to keep in mind. And yes, if you're wondering, it is a sock. It was a sock. It's one of those extra long socks. Like you know how there's socks that can go up to your like knee or past your calf. Well, I had one, so I'm like, what can I do with that one? Then I'm like, wait a second, split it in half, sew the one side up. I got something else I can use help me in the wintertime, right? So I just thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good way to reuse something.
Yeah, if you can reuse
Oh,
them,
okay.
that is good.
Yeah, just ring your your message to me. Yeah, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
after.
well,
We'll talk about it later.
yeah, just an idea I had.
Yeah, yeah, I see, I see, I see,
Well, we
I
are
see.
closing into it, so why not?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, see, another thing about these that I've noticed is that my friend that has bigger hands than me actually can fit it. So it's one of those
Okay.
things that so it's multifunctional. Multifunctional and it can help, right? And it's not that complicated, right? Really, literally, it's not that complicated. And I just made this from scraps, right? Because what was I gonna do with one long sock, right? Like an like a calf type of sock. What am I gonna do with that, right? Besides, if I can't match it to one, right? So I figured might as well reuse it, recover the resource, and kind of put it back into a useful state. And I've been trying this out for like the last year and a half now, give or take. Because I actually had it last year too. It does help. It does help and
Yeah,
such. So, and like I said, most people can wear it, can put it over, right? I'm still working on the kind of where it conforms to the wrist better, but it's the way that I made it, but seems to help and such. So,
yeah,
so I was just like thinking to myself, this could be useful. This could be useful if I ever go ice fishing again anytime soon or something like that, or and such. Because like on this trip, or quote unquote trip, it's not really a trip, but when I'm going out, it'll be part of what I bring amongst some other things. So that's what I like about it. It's because I can like sometimes you wear like a winter jacket. I can actually put it over the cuff of the winter jacket, like the sleeve where your sleeve comes out on your winter jacket. I can put it right over that. So and like I said, I can wear mitts underneath that or gloves too. So I still it's almost like having those lobster lobster style of hybrid mitts or gloves, but better. Those ones that you fold up the flap and then your fingers are exposed, right? But the one
yeah,
thing I don't like about that is that your fingertips are all the way exposed. Like if you need the dexterity, that's one thing, but I've worn them before, and my fingertips would always get cold in those still. Right, so that's why I'm going towards something I can stay warm in. Because if your fingers are warm, generally speaking, you can handle things. It's when your fingertips get cold, it's harder to handle things, harder to feel things. Because I can always remove the articles of clothing to get dexterity, right, and feel something or grab something, right. But if my hands are cold and I'm trying to manipulate something or handle something, sometimes it's just like I didn't feel it, you know, because I've noticed it before where I'm handling things. I know like how that happened. My hands must have been that cold that I didn't even feel it. So, so yeah, among some other things. And if you think about it, you see that's a synthetic version of one, but I mean you could probably make a wool version too, or along the lines of that, right? That with natural materials, wool, silks, whatever, right? Something along the lines of that. So it's really easy to take that on and off too. So And
Yeah.
everything I like about that still. So Shadow,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find something here. Uh, I know I have it.
You
You
have
gotta
a
tell
lot of
me.
stuff, and you can find what you need.
No, I just put it to the side. Probably it's probably to the side.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm using Bluetooth, so you gotta remind me if I'm cutting out. I don't want to go too far away from my phone. I'm like, I'm like almost like 20, 30 feet away, so I gotta remember if it's cutting out. I come back in because I'm trying to charge up my phone too a little here. No, I'm just trying to find this. I'm just trying to find it for. I don't. I know I have it. Where did I put it? I gotta show everyone.
I have no idea where you put it.
But yeah. It'll show up. I know it'll show up. I probably just misplaced it or something, or it fell behind something. But yeah.
Well, that is
Yeah.
what they say. If you don't look for it, it will show up.
But yeah. I mean, see, I have these Air Longer socks, right? And they don't
Yeah.
match, right? But the thing is, I'm like, what can I do with it, right? Then this is where the idea came into mind. I'm like, wait a second. Then I actually tried it out last winter and this winter, just to see how much kind of insulation or warmth can I get out of it, right? For what it is, right? And obviously, I can layer things on in, right? But because I've noticed since I've started to use it more, it's like, yeah, my thumb stays warmer because I can still make a fist. Because the thing about mitts, you can't make a fist. Well, you can, but your thumb's still exposed to the outside,
Yeah.
right? If that makes any sense. So, and I don't like to keep my hands in my pocket during the winter. I mean, it's
No.
one thing because if you fall or slip, your hands are in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So that's why I don't like doing that. It's easier. I rather have them on the outside, exposed but still warm. But yeah, so yeah, I'm working on. I'm working on one for my friend. I'm working on a version for my friend. It's just another
Yeah.
long sock. Hey, it's right here. I'm not even kidding. See, that's all. It's an actual long sock, right? These would be
Yeah.
considered like a type of stocking or stocking. Tease the season for stocking, right?
Indeed.
I know. It's like I know, but it's just something I was just like, maybe my friend could use something like that. Maybe help them out. I can wear it. I don't. It's not. I don't really. It doesn't matter to me. I can wear this color anyways, and I have. Not like I haven't, but I just haven't uh committed to it yet. But just something I've been doing. I'm like thinking to myself. I'm like, what that could help. And besides, let's say if I had a few more of these or whatever, I can start adding them into a bag or whatever, right? Dedicating them into a bag, such, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be a multi-purpose type of thing. Instead of just having basic gloves, like literally just basic gloves, and you might wear, like, say, 32 Celsius, right? To something more like this. They'll be warmer, generally because I can make a fist and it acts more like a mitt, easy to take off and off, and it's multifunctional. Multifunctional.
Yeah. That too.
Because the way that I because if you think about it, if it's an extra long sock, let's just like that one that I just showed. If I actually did wear it, it would stick up. It would reach, you know, let's say past your calf, right? Well, if you think about it, it wouldn't be the most comfortable thing because the way that it's designed or whatever. But if I split it in half, like what I just showed earlier, I can actually wear them like socks still. It just they're shorter if you think about
Yeah.
it. So it's a multifunctional kind of a thing for it. So if I needed that, because like gloves and mitts, you can't really put them on like a sock. You're not gonna be able to because the fingertips, the thumb, and such, right? It's different.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm going towards something like this. So something to keep in mind for anyone that has those lonely, lonely socks, especially longer socks, or
Yeah.
if you have like a bunch. So because I think that's a good way of reusing something like that. Well, like I said, I've been and I posted. Well, I shouldn't say posted this, but when I shared this out in the private community, private chat with some other people, with you and such, and for too, and Alpine preparedness, right? I've been trying to reuse these socks and actually trying to put them back into good use, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of articles of clothing, right? So I'm just thinking to myself, instead of wasting it, all I have to do is just convert it or change it, and I can change it into something that's useful again, right? Because really, if we think about what's the real difference between a sock, gloves, and mitts, it's just the shape or the contours of the shape, right? Gloves, for your fingers. A mitt still has a thumb part, and the sock is just one piece. Well, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I was just thinking. Because originally I was gonna actually make a really extremely long type of mitt. That was the idea, right? Because I guess like the one that I just showed, if I had two of them, a matching pair, I can use them like a really long mitt that goes down to your past your forearm, right? That would keep your arm, your forearm, and your wrist quite warm to a certain degree. So, because I've been thinking like that, and I'm like, nowadays it's just like, I know I can. You can go over to I can go over to a dollar store or a place and, here's some mitts, some gloves, or whatever you can get or whatever, right? But, you know, maybe you have something around already. You just change it a little with some sewing skills.
Yeah.
I mean, like the one that I showed you originally showed you, literally some thread, some needle, some back stitching in it. I mean, you want to make sure the back stitching's tight because anything that stretches, you want to make sure the stitching's tighter or tighter together to
Yeah.
handle the stretchiness that when you're pulling it, right? Because you don't want it too loose or the stitching too far apart because you have to stretch it, right? So, or else
Yeah.
the threads will start to split. But it's just something like this. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I could do a lot with this. Just, just with some tools and stuff like that, like a sewing needle. So we'll see. Yeah, because somehow I seem to have these lonely long socks that I don't know what to do with.
You figured something out, as always.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I would hope so. I would hope so. Well, like I said, I've been doing this kind of. Well, I won't say spring cleaning, but kind of looking. Well, because I had some. You know how some people will hold on to their one lonely sock, trying to match it, or glove, or mitt, or whatever. I do that too, right? Trying to match it, but then I'm like thinking to myself, it's been years and I still haven't been able to match it. Or I've matched a few, but there's still like a couple of singles, you know, for some reason, right? Where you have a pile of it or whatever, and you're like thinking, what can you do with it, right? Instead of tossing it. And yeah, you can donate it or whatever. Yeah, that's one thing, but you know, people, you know, they don't want to just look for, like, let's just say, like a secondhand spot or whatever. Well, they can't just sell one glove. Probably not, right? Or one sock, right? It still needs to be paired up. So,
Yeah.
because I actually have these other things, and I'm just like thinking to myself, as long as the color's close enough, that's one thing, or the size or something like that. But then there's these other things I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, what? I don't have a pair for it. I've never seen a pair for it. Or let's just say it's like a bigger mitt or something like that. I'm like, I'm probably not gonna be able to find a matching one for it anytime soon. So what can I do with it? You know, can it can I put it back into a useful state where it can help me? Like for example, right here, I actually have an example right here. See, this is actually a mitt. The fun part is coming out. There's a liner on the inside of it, but I only
Yeah.
have one of these, and I was just thinking to myself, I should try to reuse this somehow. Like, don't get me wrong, I got plenty of mitts and all that stuff, right? But maybe I can make it into something similar to what I've been showing the last and talking about the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes here. Because I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I know I could do something with this. It's not that bad. It's not like there's a bunch of holes everywhere along it. It's just that the fun part, there's a hole in the fun part.
Yeah.
I could try to stitch it together, but I'm like, but that also means I gotta match it with another mitt somehow, of the same size or similar size. Because obviously, when you wear gloves or mitts, you're trying to match similar size. You're not wearing a really small glove on one side and a really big one. Usually, you don't usually do it like that, right? Because if they're mix and matching, at least trying to get the right size, right? Similar size. Color is, whatever, right? It could be a dark green and a lighter shade of green, or a navy with a blue or something like that. Probably not. It's probably not that important, right? As important, right? Function over, function first, right? It still has to function first, for example. So, it's like I've shown in this Airstream I did a couple weeks back. You know, I was just showing some stuff. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I have these two mints right here. They're big. They're not the same size, but they're big. They're overly big. They're meant for like hardcore outdoor activities. Like you're wearing gloves underneath it, kind of deal. And such, right? Like here's some articles. See, here's some articles I have right here. Let me just show that right here. Right, these are longer. These stretch longer down my down my wrist. So I have the tendency to use these when it's cold, much colder out, because
Yeah.
they stretch down past my wrist. They're not. They don't cut off right at your wrist part. They go down a little bit more and down more onto your forearm. So, because there's certain places you probably don't want frostbite or feel cold, right? Your wrist, your neck, your forehead. I remember having like my forehead being cold. I'm like, ooh, that felt bad. Ooh. I mean, it wasn't that painful, but it's painful enough for what it
Yeah,
was.
I know the
I was like,
feeling.
I was starting to, yeah, again, I was starting to get frost nip or frostbite on right at that spot, just because I'm heading into the winter and I'm trying to roll down my. Now I was only outside for like 5-10 minutes, right? Walking distance. I knew exactly what it was, right? I just had to drop off something, right? But I was like, oh, thank goodness I even wore this much, all right? But now this is why I've been adding the buffs into what I'm wearing, because I can always add them on top, like the buffs and stuff like that. Because usually the way they're looser on me, they're not as really tight fitting, so I can wear them
Yeah.
over top of hats, over top of tubes, over top of anything else I'm wearing, just in case what I'm wearing isn't cutting it. I can potentially adds more insulation or more layers of protection. So, yes. It's about half an hour, Shadow. I think
Yeah,
I scheduled that my post for in a half an hour from now. You'll see
yeah,
it. You'll see it. I know I've already shared it with you guys, but we'll share it on the YouTube side here. Just something. So, and there's an inside joke too. Like I said, it's an inside joke. Well, I shouldn't say inside joke, but it's kind of funny. Some people won't get it. Some people won't get it. I didn't even notice until I start typing it. I'm like, this is kind of funny. It's like I meant to say it, but not. But it's true, but it's not. But then it is TGIF. It is Friday. So yeah. So yeah. That's why I've been asking you guys and gals and ladies and gentlemen, what would you guys do with some of this stuff? Because I don't. I mean, something. Oh, just get rid of it. Just throw it in the trash or whatever. That's the easy. That's like that's an easy solution. The easy way out. I want to see can I actually do more with it than I think and such, right?
yeah.
So that's why I've been trying to like I said, do stuff like I said. And not only that, I'm getting better at the reorganization of it too lately. Apparently. Oh, did I mention? I'll show you guys this. Something I kind of did. This reminds me of something. What I did with, you know, let me see. Come on. Gloves like these really thin gloves, and some people may wear when it's not as cold or as an underneath layer for something. These ones.
They look nice.
Well, no, but anyways, there's a certain word that some people will use. I won't use it here, but people do know what it's called. But anyways, I have so many of these, right? I'm like, how many do I really need, right? And because you can only layer so many together, right? Before you lose too much dexterity or it's too tight. Well, one of the things I did with one of the looser ones, I used it to put my mitts in, keep my mitts together. Some red mitts I have. These are mitts, right? So
Yeah,
similar to like using it's like using a baggie to store something in. Well, I'm using a glove to store the mitts in, to keep the mitts together. For example, right? And these are like mitts that I have had for a while, so I could just pull them out. These are mitts that I've had for a while, right? So uh, I'm almost thinking of bringing them now. I'm almost thinking of bringing them, Shadow. I'm almost thinking about it right now. No. That's actually why I'm nervous in my gosh for this right now. Just to decide on which one to bring. But here, let me put this one on. Sorry, I didn't bring the tripod out. But anyways. So yeah, something like this, right? Well, I can put this on top of it. Sorry, I don't have my tripod with me. I didn't set it up. But for example here, I can put what I just put on top, what I just showed here. So I can do something like this and have both of them.
yeah,
This would keep my hand nice and warm, for example, right? And especially considering the temperatures we're expecting out west here, for example, if I wanted to. That's an idea. That's an idea, right? So I have the choice of the layering. I can wear a little bit more if I really wanted to and such. So, oh, by the way, after the stream, I would like to talk to you if you don't mind, if you have time.
Yeah, sometime ahead.
Yeah, because I only have enough time till the top hour, anyways. Because I have to call people back like usual before they get mad at me. It's like, how come it's taking forever to call me back, CR? On the stream, sorry. I just know. But yeah. So, let's see here. You're probably another like 5 minutes, give or take. Well, maybe 15 minutes. I might go to the 2 hour mark. Yeah, I might as well go. I eventually tried to go to the 2 hour mark. I guess I could use the watch time.
Yeah.
My stream renewal period. The billing period on StreamYard here is got renewed today, so I'm back at the bottom of the 0 out of 20 hours. Well, -2 because I've been going for about 2 hours. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know if you use mids. I know some people like gloves more because the dexterity or whatever. So good. I mean, I got gloves and mids, but I don't know what you like to use, Shadow.
I prefer gloves, but
I mean, I guess if you're outside for a long period of time and such, it's nice to
it's easier to grip things if you have
yeah.
gloves than rather than mitts. You can grip with the mitts too, but it's a little bit more difficult,
I know
and it
sometimes
feels
I'll wear
odd.
yeah. I mean, like I said, sometimes I'll wear gloves underneath the mids. Not worry. Like I said, like what I was showing, like I can wear, like I actually have gloves on right now, just and I can put that kind of sock on and acts like a glove. But I can, I can if I need a little bit more dexterity or in terms of handling something, right? It just depends, like grabbing something or manipulating something. Let's just say like a phone or something like that, right? For example, right? Then I got to do something like that because also you got to touch your display on a phone, unless you got a flip phone, still. But pretty sure most of us don't. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so that's why I've been going through some of this stuff and just kind of reevaluating that. How good is it? How warm does it keep me? And how modular or how modular is it? How can I combine it together or add it together, right? So I'm just evaluating it, because
Yeah,
there's certain mitts I can't put over certain gloves because they're small or whatever. But then I have mitts that are really really big that I can put on over top of everything if I really had to, right? Let's just say something like outdoor activities like skiing, which I haven't done in a while, or like stuff like that, right? Tobogganing, sledding, stuff like that, right? Some of these activities that a lot of people do during the winter time, right? Well, you know, that might be a time that I would like to have mids a little bit more, especially if you're skiing, right? Because you're not get that windshield and stuff like that just because you're moving, right, down
yeah,
the hill,
indeed.
stuff like that, right? So that's why I like to have the choice and such because it just to me I rather have that option and stuff. And like I said, it depends. Some people their tolerance to cold is a little bit higher. Some people a little bit lower, depending on the part of the body. But there will be a time that it won't matter. There will be a time that you can only acclimatize to it so much, right? Before the biological restrictions of life will be like, yeah, it's -40. You probably still want gloves or mitts somewhere, right? Even if you do run hot. or something like that. There's a certain point that you're gonna need it, eventually need it, or need a pair or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right, right. Because if you're complaining or getting frostnip or frostbite, yeah, you probably need it, right? Frostbite or
Probably. Yeah.
heavy, yeah, you probably do need it, right? It's starting to hurt, which means that your body temperature is going down. Well, because what also happens if you start getting frostnip or frostbite along your hands, or your hands start getting colder and your extremities get cold, you're probably feeling colder, right? Because the
Yeah.
cold's starting to penetrate you, right? Which means that because the circulation of your blood, right? Your blood temperature, it's probably going down slightly because your extremities are starting to get cold. And what happens when your extremities start getting cold? Your core body tends to hold back that heat to your core even more because it's realizing, or you gotta do jumping jacks and shake your hands and do that other stuff. And like I said, don't blow into your hands, right? It's not a good idea. Or blow into your gloves, right? Because once you do it, you have to keep doing it. All right. It's one thing if you're 5 minutes out or something like that, but if you're in the middle of nowhere, I would not do that. I would do everything else first, right? Put your hands underneath your armpits or something like that, or inside your jacket, right, to warm up your hands, right? It's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna start getting blisters if you rub your hands together, like skin to skin contact. It's one thing to do it if you have gloves on or mitts on already, right? Yeah, you can rub your hands. It'll probably be fine. But
Yeah.
rubbing skin to skin, yeah, no, because you'll get chafing it, and eventually that only works so much, right? That's why I'm a more big fan of putting my hands underneath my armpits. All right. There was this one time, well, a few times now, where I've had like I had frostbite on my thumb, and remember, this is in -30, and I was wearing gloves and mitts. It's just because the activity I was doing, right? But I was just like, I went to my friend. I got to my friend's place. I'm like, I know this is gonna sound weird, but can I have frostbite on my thumb. Can you help me here? Warm up my hand, right? You know. So I did certain little things, but whatever. I rather have a warm thumb, right? And a couple minutes of that, and was fine again, right? So, because you hear about those type of stories, right? In the winter scenarios out there, reenactments and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, I've done that before. I would, I would help people with that too if necessary. If it came down to it. So, oh, look who it is! I didn't. Sorry. Shadow, you're supposed to tell me when people come in. I didn't
Okay.
realize.
Well, it's hard when
Oh
you're rambling.
no, you could have said something. I no, because since I've been using Bluetooth, I don't stay
Yeah. Now we have
towards the
food
phone.
forest permaculture in the house too.
Farmer son, quiet listener. Yeah. Allie, how are you doing? How are you doing? Well, I guess I gotta keep going here because you guys are all here now. And here I was gonna stop at the 2 hour. Well, maybe I'll go a little bit longer. A little bit longer here. At least you joined me this time around, Howie, before. No, because the last stream I did, he showed up right at my 2 minutes, right when I was closing out. Yep. Everyone always shows up at the closing time. There's always that one straggler behind, right? That always shows up late. It's the way it is everywhere for everything. So, but yeah, it's nice to see you, quiet listener, Howie, um, Farmer Son. Hopefully you're doing well. Farmer Son, I haven't seen you around for a little bit. Penny pinching and Prepper keeps dropping by. I actually was thinking you might drop by on this stream, but he dropped by on the last stream. That's actually how I met him, by the way, Shadow. Penny pinching.
Okay.
I actually met them through Farmer's Son. Because they were doing a stream together or whatever, then I just kind of started to check out the content, get to know the people. I'm like, oh, look, here's a fire starter. Oh, it just happens to be Friday. It just happens to be Friday too right now. But yeah, so I started to get to know him a little bit better and stuff like that. So it's all cool. It's all cool.
Yeah.
So yes, shout out to Farmer Son. How are you doing? Well, that's nice to hear. Oh, you're back from the store, so you about a few things. I'm assuming that's what he meant. It's just back from the restore. I think the store. I think that's a typo in there. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate everyone dropping in for this one here. And my impromptu co-host here for once. I can actually say it this time. I can actually say you're my co-host this time, Shadow.
Yeah.
For
Indeed.
once. Oh yeah, and he wants to use that word like he always wants to. He indeed likes to use that indeed word all the time. Like all the time. I never, before I met you, I swore I never really heard anyone use that word, and I'm like, now I can't stop saying it. Indeed. You were supposed to say it at the same time with me to make it funny.
Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, okay. It was supposed to be funny. But yeah, so. Yeah, it's nice to see you all.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll go a little bit longer, not too much longer. Like I said, I still need to talk to Shadow here about something else in the backstage after. And I have to return a phone call at the top of the hour.
Yeah,
Or they get
that
mad
too.
at me. That too. So, yeah, real world, right? Sometimes I got to remember the real world. That's why I don't mute or totally turn down the ringer on the phone. Because it could be important, right? And I would hate to be one of those people that let a stream get in front of the real world, especially if it was important, right? I think you guys and gals would all understand that. I rather have it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Not saying you guys and gals aren't important, but I mean, real world too, right? Could be as hey, CR, can you help me with something, or something like that, to something more serious. And I would hate to be like not hear it or something like that, right? It's one of those things. So. Just like how you tell people where you're going, right? Well, it would be nice if they actually pick up the line or the call if they do call, right, for a reason. So. I've only had that happen a few times, but like I said, I don't want to stream getting in the way of that if it was like that. You know what I mean? Especially if it's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could live with myself if I did something so selfish like that. Right? I mean, it's one thing if it's not important, I can call them back, but if it's important, it's important. Right? So it's one of those things. I think anyone would agree. That's why, any of the streams I go to, if it gets cut short, hey, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. We've at least had some time to spend some time talking and doing some stuff, right?
Yeah, I
You can
agree.
only right. So Quiet was the. Can you post a time with a time zone? I gotta. I've been. It's meant that I've been. Well, I've been busy too, but I'm also trying to find the time to for everyone, right? I'll allocate enough time for everyone, right? It's very difficult at times because I need to do stuff in the real world too, right? You know what I mean? You still have to do whatever it is, work, chores, help people out, right? So sometimes I'm not always around to watch right away, or I start falling behind on the content, right? Because there's a lot of content that everyone wants to watch, right? Some of it
Yep.
you're more prone to watching right away and stuff. So just being transparent about that. That's why I always appreciate people taking the time to drop in, right? However long, right? I get it. You gotta do something. You gotta go, well, you got 5 minutes to spare. Well, you know what? I'd rather have people be able to have 5 minutes to spare, right? If you're busy, if your guys or girls are busy doing something, yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay. Because it comes back to like kind of, sometimes you got to put the real world in front of your virtual life or second life, right?
Yeah, I agree with you about that
I mean,
one.
you guys are important too, Shadow. You're important too, but I got to make sure other people are important too, right? So, especially if I got to go
Exactly.
help people. Yes. So 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. All right. I'll try. I'll try to the point that actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a screenshot on my phone here, just so I can refer to it. You'll be in my screenshot, honestly, so I can screenshot that, so I can refer to it, remind myself of it. I'll have to wait it later. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I know what time it is right now. I was gonna say, you're doing the stream tomorrow at the same time, hey?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go as? Are you gonna go just a few hours this time again? I know in the last couple of weeks you've gone only a few hours.
Yeah, because I have been pretty tired.
Yeah,
So
I know.
up
8 hour
early
stream
and
takes a
things.
lot out of 6 hour, 5, 6, 8 hour stream takes a lot out of you. So and you're going past like what 2 o'clock in the morning, right? On some of those at times. So takes their toll. It takes a toll on a person in time, especially if you're doing it every weekend, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's why it's like it's all good. Just as long as I get the memo that you're only going for a few hours. Remember last week? Remember last Saturday? I'm like, oh, of
Yeah.
course I disconnect and I come back. Oh, yeah, my headset just died. I've been going that long.
Okay.
I didn't know. So I think that's a cue. Well, I'll. It doesn't take that long to top a back off, but I think that's I think that's a sign. Ah, that means I get untapped to the phone again. I've been so used to having Bluetooth and using it that I can walk around and be
Yeah.
tethered to the phone in terms of talking to it. Because obviously, if the further I'm away from the phone, you can't hear me. So now I gotta hold the
I
phone
agree.
and walk with it. I gotta walk with it, like the old school way of talking on the phone with the ear next to with the mic next to face and your speaker next to your ear. I still do
Yeah.
that. I still do that when I'm talking. Like, when I join your stream and stuff like that, sometimes I am like that. Well, not now since I have Bluetooth, but it's nice. Pretty convenient. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go for another like 5 minutes here. I try to always give my 2 minute warning for everyone. For everyone to say something on the way out and stuff like that. I like to. I don't actually like to abruptly end the stream. I don't like doing that because people are like typing and such, or they're just slightly behind on the live, right? So I don't like to. Nah. I like to give a little bit of notice, even if it's just 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even in sporting events, there's always like, final minute, 2 minute warning, and all this other stuff. So far, here's the final minute in the quarter, or something like that. So I like to do it like that now, just so just in case anyone wants to say anything on the way out, of this. I mean, at the closing time and such, or ask me something, or say something, or reply to something, and amongst other things. And so I can actually see people say their kind, take care, CR, and all this stuff. So. Yeah. So tomorrow will be at the same time. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the backstage again after this, as usual. I'll see if I can join the stream for tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, on
Probably.
panel. I mean, I'll say I'll join in terms of like being on the side chat, but in terms of actually talking or on the panel, we'll see. Depending how busy I am.
Yeah.
So. So, everyone, I appreciate everyone dropping by on this impromptu live stream, reconnecting with some of you people out there on this TGIF edition one. And if you're watching live right now or just catching up on this, I'm posting something on the community board. It should appear at the top of the hour in about 12 minutes from now, give or take. Just something small, you know, something to keep in mind, something that suits a Friday, something that has TGIF in it, like literally. The people that see it will know what I mean. It's kind of funny how I made it work together. I wasn't even finding it until I posted it or scheduled it and such.
Yeah.
And thank you, Shadow, for keeping me company here
Yeah.
on the
You're,
stream. I know
you're
I did
very
more
welcome.
talking. You were just kind of uh, second in command, co-host.
Exactly.
Someone just to say something, so I can have someone to talk about. Indeed.
Indeed.
See, everyone. I can't stop using that word now. I gotta come up with an acronym. I'm gonna come up with one. I'm gonna work on that over the weekend and all next week. I'm gonna start working on it. I'm trying to think of an acronym for that.
Yeah. If you find an acronym today, you do it good.
But yes. So thank you for everyone that dropped by. Our Clown Man, Alpine Preparedness, Farmer Son, Quiet Listener, Jonathan came by. Of course, you. Of course, you, right? You came in before I asked you to join me. And
Exactly.
Food Forest Permaculture. Thank you, all of you. And the person that knocks my socks off, Forehaven. I almost can't forget Forehaven.
Yeah, Thorhaven.
You can't forget that dude, man.
No,
And amongst other people. So,
that would be a
anyways,
mistake.
all right, everyone, take care out there. Be
Take
safe.
care, stay safe. God bless.
Yes, and like my standard outro. So yeah, hold on. I know. So remember, practice of skills and knowledge. Try to help someone out there if you can. So, anyways, take care, everyone.
Exactly.
Peace out from Creative Redundancy and Shadow Scout Sweet. I'll catch you all guys next time. Bye, everyone. Take care.
See you later.